Barack Obama has imposed new sanctions against Iran. And this comes as the Pentagon has revealed that Iranian warplanes tried to shoot down a U.S. drone flying near Iran's border last week. RT's Gayanet Chikan has more.
Here we are again. This is pretty much, I think, probably one of the most undercovered, most important stories, possibly of the century, which is why I'm covering it. And I just produced a video about Iran and the sanctions, and unbeknownst to my knowledge, while I'm producing that video, Obama's tightening the sanctions, the already existing sanctions that crippled Iran's economy. I totally missed it. I just found it, and here it is, guys.
President Obama's first moves after he won re-election have pretty much indicated that in the next 4 years he will aggressively pursue the idea of the U.S. being the world police. The administration has imposed financial sanctions against the Iranian officials who the U.S. blames for jamming satellite broadcasts and blocking internet access in Iran. That comes on top of a whole bunch of other sanctions that had been put in place by the U.S., which proved to be crippling for the Iranian economy, and the population there is suffering a great deal because of that.
Whoa, slow down there, lady. Did you guys hear that? Exactly what I thought was happening. I thought there was already sanctions on Iran that had crippled their economy, and I was really concerned. Well, either that or I just want to look smart when a war does break out, and at least we can all say, at least Anthony saw this coming. But in any event, so I did a video about the Iran sanctions because I heard it was causing a great amount of suffering amongst the people, and I hear that's how war starts. And there it is. She just said it. What she said, what she just spat out there, is sanctions that had already causing a lot of suffering and had crippled Iran's economy. Now, that was already the state. Now Obama is hit them again. Can you say bully? Total out of control bully. He's going to defraud the Americans through banker fraud and derivatives and screw them, and then he's going to make the lives of Iranians as uncomfortable as possible as well. Trying to incite a war?
Campaigning, President Obama indicated that he didn't want to go to war with Iran, but that he would continue the sanctions policy. And that's what he's doing. We heard reports that the Obama administration might engage in direct talks with Iran at some point, but there has been no confirmation to that. As Israel threatens to attack Iran and the U.S. appears to be stopping them, some argue that the U.S. and Israel might be playing a good cop, bad cop diplomatic game there. Anyway, the administration's...
You guys hear that? She's saying this has been Obama's MO. His words and his actions are not consistent. He wants to avoid a war, but we are going to put sanctions that are going to cripple your economy on you and just make the lives of your people hell. But we don't want to fight. That's like saying to somebody, I don't want to fight you, and then just punching them in the face. But saying, I don't want to fight, and then punching them. And then saying, listen, but I didn't mean it, I don't want to fight. No, it doesn't work like that. The other thing she says is, talking about how Israel is thinking about attacking Iran, which is just sort of mind-blowing. Why does Israel want to attack Iran? Haven't they killed enough people in Gaza over the past month? What is the matter with Israel? And she's talking about how they could be playing good cop, bad cop with Iran. Don't go for any of this. I mean, after all, what are they saying? This is over again? Oh yeah, because Iran shot down a drone, a US drone or something. Uh, anyway, she was just starting to talk about what it looks like the administration appears to be doing here, so I'm gonna let her finish.
Strategy appears to be to make Iran so desperate that they would agree to anything. But
And I quote, the administration strategy appears to make Iran so desperate that they'll agree to anything. That's sickening. I guess we're talking about the nuclear. We're worried now all of a sudden that Iran's going to come up with the bomb. So I guess that's what that's about. We're going to make them so desperate, I don't know, maybe like a crackhead, that they'll be willing to sell their own mother to please us, so we can take advantage of them and exploit them, right, and their resources. Is that what this is about? All of Iran's oil? We want to steal their oil like we stole Iraq's? I don't know. Is Obama purposely trying to start basically World War III, since China said that they're with Iran and Russia said that they're on that side too? I don't know. You never know. That's the problem with invading countries. That's why neutrality is so great, because it says, you know what, under no circumstances do we get involved in anything, because you just never know. In this case, they're telling us it's about a drone that was shot down. They're telling us the same story they told us about Iraq, that Iran's working on a bomb. So, you know what? I don't know what it's about. But certainly, watch where this one goes, guys. Watch where these Iran sanctions goes.
sanctioning Iran was probably not President Obama's very first move after winning this election. Government officials here said on Wednesday a U.S. drone strike targeted a group of al-Qaeda militants in Yemen, and the president had to authorize that, and possibly he did that within hours after his re-election. The use.
Oh, so imposing sanctions on Iran was not his first thing that he did once he got back in the door. First, he killed al-Qaeda militants in Yemen. I have no idea what's going on with Yemen. Al-Qaeda militants, probably, maybe they're al-Qaeda militants. Maybe it's 10-year-old kids with bandanas. I don't know. But, so, and these sanctions, guys, are no joke. Sanctions, by the way, is what people say why Pearl Harbor was attacked initially. It was because of sanctions put on Japan. To say Obama's picking on Iran right now is an understatement. It's basically an attack. Obama is attacking Iran right now. And newsflash, he's killing people in Yemen. Al-Qaeda militants, right? Sure they are. Sure they are. Yeah, we've seen what your Al-Qaeda militants look like when the smoke clears, haven't we? Thanks to WikiLeaks release. First thing the guy does is continue his invasion style warfare, continue his global policing, the global bullying. So anyway, like I'm saying, these sanctions are no joke. No joke. Watch how this develops. Just watch and see where this one goes, guys. If history is any indicator, a whole bunch of people aren't going to like where this is going, especially Iranians, and could be Americans too, and anyone else who gets involved in this. What's going to happen here?
Drones has been highly controversial. It's quite clear not everybody hit by those drones are terrorists, and the administration so far has been far from transparent on how they pick the targets and basically authorize executions overseas. The UN has raised concerns about the legality of such executions. There has been a lot of criticism, especially after numerous reports of civilian deaths. In the meantime, this administration is set to rely on drones more and more. Another drone-related story this week, the Pentagon said the Iranian military had fired upon but did not hit a U.S. drone flying close to Iran. The Pentagon claimed the drone was there on a surveillance mission. So looking at some of President Obama's first moves after re-election, one could say he takes the idea of America being the world police very seriously. But the question is, who's going to hold that world police itself accountable?
Now, the
Amen, sister. You said it. That is why I love Russia today, because they appear to give a more unbiased point of view of the actions of the U.S. Who's going to hold these world police accountable? Who's going to police the police? It's a good question, and you know what the answer to that one is, right, guys? You're listening to it. We are the people, the citizens. We're gonna police them. I'm going to do it. That's who's going to do it. And that's who is doing it right now. I'll tell you who. The online community is going to do it. Anonymous is going to do it. This is a different world than the one our parents' generation grew up in, where 80 million people sat down at dinner and got their news from Walter Cronkite at 6 o'clock on Channel 8, because that was their one channel, or one of 3 channels. So they were able to basically trick our parents' generation into all of this nonsense and garbage, corruption, fraud, stealing, all the morally depraved activity. Yeah, you were able to do that with your propaganda machine in the context of our parents' generation, in the context of, like I said, limited, no alternative media. 80 million people sitting down at dinner getting their news from Walter Cronkite is zero alternative media. Not the world we live in today. Now alternative media is exploding. Conventional media, I believe the viewership is dropping. People are getting rid of their cable box. They're going online to get informed. And now that's a beautiful thing. So, I'm pretty confident that they're fighting a losing battle with what they're doing. People are seeing through this. They think they're talking to our parents and a bunch of sheep that are totally clueless because they live, eat, breathe propaganda. It's not the case. They're going to try to censor the internet because of this. And so obviously the main thing is to keep the internet as free as possible to prevent these people from committing mass murder. With what it looks like with the sanctions they're already imposing on Iran, I'm sure that's resulting in massive, some casualties. That's pain and suffering anyway. Alright.